what I brought with us today is a shear. Now the guys that work with this all the time, they're going to want to get one of these because these shears make everything real easy in the field for cutting. So they're nice, they're neat and quick. And again, the contractors that do this all the time, they'll bring that and set it right up on the peak of the roof, so that they're working and they're not handing stuff down. They're just working right off the peak. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out top part of the panel, cut the lock off. Because what I want to do, I'm making a 1-inch lock. That's the standard size lock. So I want to make sure that I've got at least 1 inch there to make that lock. And by having 1 inch, it's going to give me a little room to play too.
So now what Tom is using is a folding tool. In that folding tool is pretty much the same as this. 1 inch on one side and 1/2 inch on the other. You're going to see diamonds or circles on that folding tool.
I'm going to want to make sure I see some of the material in that hole. That shows me that I'm all the way in. You can fold it across your stomach. Just fold it like that. It's a real easy to bend. And we're dealing with 28 gauge material here. This is what we're using. So I've got that. That's my first piece. And then I would have my helper doing those, and because I would start with, I would use that same piece all the way up the valley, that same template, and that's going to give me that perfect pattern coming across if I keep using the same pieces. So what I've done there, I've locked it into the bottom valley, or the bottom drip edge. I've locked it into the V-valley, and you got a nice edge there. The staggering, the offset on this is 1/2. And if you look at the panel, the top of the panel, you're going to see there's an indentation halfway across the panel. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but there's a little indent there. And that's where I'm going to line up each time I come across. And that's going to give me my, my center line. So I'm going to put the next piece in. I always put the next piece in before I screw it home. And the reason I do that is I want to make sure that I'm running square, especially when I'm starting with a valley type piece. So I've got them both up in there, and I look up that edge. It's tight. I'm going, oh, this is good. This is what I want to see. When I install these screws, I'm putting them on slight angle upward, and you can just see that. Just snug that up there. Just pulled that up nice and tight when I did that. Do the same thing. Make sure my edge is nice and straight. When we did the wind testing on this product, we did it using 2 screws. I'm using 2 screws here. If it was my house, I'd put 4 screws in it. Screws aren't that expensive, and it doesn't take you that much longer to do it. So I wouldn't be afraid to overscrew it.
And because it's an interlocking 4-way system, what I recommend is all the way throughout the perimeter of the roof. If you are looking at doing the 2-screw system, put the 4 screws all the way around the perimeter. Your starter, your edge, your final ones, as many places as you can. In the middle, you can get away with the 2-screw because of the wind lift. You're already locking in on all 4 sides. So by that being locked in, that panel's not going anywhere anyway. So you can choose on the 4 holes to do 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, as long as you've got them staggered within the 1, 2. When you're going forward with the panel and versus going the other way, you may want to do the first one and the third one, so that way there you can lift this a bit to get that piece back in. If you put that screw down, you're tightening this lip, so it's harder to get it in, so more work. So always look at which way will work better for you, and then after that you can come back through and fit that up.
Okay, so just finishing my bottom row here. And on this bottom one here, I am going to put it, like you mentioned before about putting a weeper cut in. I am going to put one here because this is a water channel. So what happens here if any water does get by, it's going to track down this and again be expressed out the eave. So knowing that, I'm just going to cut out about a couple inch space right across there. And since water has a tendency to want to track over, I'm going to take a weeper hole just about 1 inch past what I just notched out there. So it ends up looking something like that when I'm done. And again, I'm going to do that, well, just in that spot there, and wherever I'm using that type of trim, that's where I'm going to do that detail. Lock it in. Slide it up. Make sure I'm in the lock. And again, I always get in the habit of putting my next panel on before I fasten this one home. And again, it's just a little trick that I learned to keep everything square.